I feel like that, like, Miss USA contestant, the like such as lady.
Africa.
Like such as the Africa. Like, that's what I feel like today. That's how good at words I am this day. Fuck. Hey, it's Megan.
And Sue in the restricted section.
And today we are doing the Wonder Woman movie book tag.
Yes, and this was created by Janelle from All the World's a Page.
Yes.
And she's also the one who tagged us.
Yes.
So we'll put her video down below. Go check it out.
We will.
So, these are questions all based on the movie.
Right.
Which we haven't seen yet.
We have not seen yet, but we want to see it.
Yeah,
we just haven't gotten
done it yet.
Yeah.
Heard great things about it though.
Me too.
So
Yeah, I really do.
I really want to see it.
Want to see it. And we're going to drink this McKinney Eddy Amber Ale from Piney River Brewing Company. I'm going to give this a go.
Yep. This is a local-ish brewery.
Where are they from?
Bucyrus, I think that's how you pronounce it. Bucyrus, Missouri.
Well, that's a fun name. Bucyrus.
It's down near Houston, I believe.
Interesting.
It's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Ooh, the aftertaste is nice.
It is. It's a nice, like, smooth, crisp.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty decent.
All right. So the first question is, the 2017 film Wonder Woman has been long awaited and received with great acclaim.
Name a badass female character who has gone unnoticed for far too long.
So I said Nina from Dracula because I feel like she's really underestimated by the men in the book. And she does in some ways sort of like play her role of being the submissive female. But she's actually the one that really like figures all this shit out. And to me, I thought she was smarter than any of the men in the book. And she's also having to, you know, she's being preyed upon by Dracula and has to like be strong and like fight against that. And so, to me, I thought she was the strongest character in the book and also the most intelligent and, like, badass.
It's pretty solid.
Yeah.
And I said Dana from Kindred because I think, like, I mean, she time travels back to, like, slave times.
1860s,
yeah. And so she's the one, like, she's treated, you know, like slaves were treated then, and she's kind of, I can't words today. She's the one saving the life of, like, this heir, this white heir, and she just goes unnoticed and treated like shit.
Right.
Yeah, but she's really the badass of the story.
And the next question is, the film broke records for movies made by female directors.
Name a female writer in the world of literature who overcame adversity to become successful.
And I said Toni Morrison. I read a little bit about her, and she came from like a working class family. Said at one point their landlord burned their house down because they were behind on rent, which I don't quite understand. Like, wouldn't that be hurting him more than...
Yeah, like, why
maybe he was
would you burn
trying to
your
collect
property?
the insurance money or something. I don't know. But, yeah, so she came from pretty humble beginnings, and then also the time she was growing up and going to college was during segregation. So, you know, being a black woman, that definitely limited her resources, and, you know, I can't words today either.
Word sounds hard.
You know what I'm saying, though?
You know.
Her options were limited when it came to, like, education and things like that. But she, you know, became extremely successful and celebrated in the literary world. So,
yes.
There you go.
There you go. And I said Charlotte Perkins Gilman. I had read a little bit about her, and I guess her father abandoned her mother and her when she was very young, and so she was from kind of a poor upbringing. Plus, I think it was difficult, you know, for a female writer to be, you know, to gain popularity and to
be taken seriously.
Yeah, and be successful in that time period. So, and I think she's pretty brilliant. Yeah.
All right, next is Diana and the Amazons get their power from Zeus, the Greek god.
Name a work of fiction inspired by religious mythology.
I said Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This is also titled The Modern Prometheus.
I like
that. Inspired by Prometheus,
Greek mythology.
Yeah, who was said to have created humankind and also given us fire.
Fire! And I said Fated by S.G. Brown. It's about fate, and he's personified, and it's about his interactions with like destiny and God, who I can't remember what God's name was in that book, but it was like Jeff or something. Like it was super innocuous. So yeah, it was based on religious mythology.
All right, next, the Amazons.
Name a myth or old story that has inspired countless spin-offs in books and other media.
And I said The Odyssey by Homer. There's many works inspired by the Odyssey, such as Ulysses by James Joyce, Penelopead by Margaret Atwood, the movie Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting a lot of books, but those are the only ones I can remember right now, but there's a lot.
Yeah. I would say.
A lot of books that are themselves considered classics as well.
Right.
Because there was Ulysses, and there's another classic that I'm, like, forgetting right now that I'm going to kick myself later.
You're going to think of it like, once you get home and you've been home for a while, it's going to come to you.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, fuck.
Yeah.
I said Dracula by Bram Stoker. This was fairly popular, and I think it's a classic, and I think it spurred a lot of other vampire stories and spin-offs, if you will.
Number 5, men aren't needed for pleasure.
Name a book that features a lesbian romance or implies female masturbation.
And I chose Anathema by Rachel Deering. Is that right?
I think so.
Rachel Deering, Christopher Mooneyham, and Wesley St. Clair. This is Volume 1, The Evil That Men Do, and in this graphic novel, these two women are in love, and then one of their father catches them together, and he burns his daughter at the stake. And it's set in, like, it doesn't really say, but I'd assume it's set in, like, puritanical, like the Dark Ages or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, as she's burning at the stake, this creature comes and steals her soul.
Snatches it right up.
And so then her lover goes on a quest to get her soul back.
Yes.
And free her.
Yes.
And takes on the power of the werewolf, which is why there's a werewolf on the cover.
And it is badass.
Yeah, this is a pretty badass comic. And I really hope that she does another one.
Mm-hmm. I need there to
Volume
be more.
2.
Yeah.
At this point, this is the only one that exists, but, like, it's just so cool, and the artwork is so cool.
It's beautiful. Like, yeah, it's so good.
Check that out.
I love those black and white ones.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's just so cool.
Beautiful. And I said Through the Shattered Looking Glass by N.L. Crane. This features a lesbian romance in it. Alice's lover, Rose. Lava is a woman, and yeah, I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Next, instead of being the token strong female character trope we often see in poorly written fiction, Diana is a fully rounded character.
Name a female character that breaks stereotypes instead of being one. Note, the character does not need to be a warrior. There are a lot of different ways to be a strong woman.
And I said Syssix from The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet because she really is not your stereotypical mother. Mm-hmm. The way her society works is very different from the way that ours works. And so there's much less value put on children. They're not really considered like, given the choice between saving a child and an adult, they would save an adult because they're a more developed, more valuable person.
Right.
Than a little child who doesn't know anything yet, you know? So she really breaks down the stereotypes of, like, the mother, and also the way their relationships work is also very different. But yet she's still kind of a motherly figure, I almost feel.
She is. Like, I think she's like that to
book.
Yeah, all of her peers in the book. Like, I feel like she's kind of mothering to all of them. Yeah.
So I thought she was an interesting character and a strong female character.
I said Offred from The Handmaid's Tale because, I mean, she's incredibly strong, but she's kind of thrust into this, like, really submissive role. And so she has to be submissive, kind of, to survive. But she's incredibly strong. I mean, she survives, I don't want to give away the ending because you haven't read it yet, but she survives, and she loses her husband, her daughter, and she's still, I think, very, very strong.
Number 7, Diana only uses violence when necessary, not out of bloodlust.
Name a character who uses their powers or abilities for the greater good.
And I said Paul Atreides. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not sure. From Dune. He's sort of the chosen one, you know, and he's worshipped in a way by these people there, but he really, I think every action he takes and everything he does, for the most part, is really for the greater good and not just for himself.
I said Renata Gali from Planetfall. I think that, I mean, she's a flawed, you know, character, obviously, and she has her own issues, but she keeps a pretty big secret for the greater good of this colony. So she is very troubled by the secret that she's keeping and doesn't really want to be keeping it, but she does for the greater good. And she continues to try to work to further the best interests of the colony.
All right, number 8, Ares, the god of war, inspires the humans to violence, but he cannot force them to act upon it.
Name 2 books, one fiction and one nonfiction, that expose the dark underbelly of humanity.
So the fiction novel I have is The Anti-People by Sonia Labou-Tanzi, translated from French by J.A. Underwood. And this is about a man, it's set in Zaire, Africa, obviously. But
like such as Africa?
It's about a man he's a principal at a girls' school, and then one of the girls becomes, like, transfixed with him and wants to
get up on that.
Yeah, wants to get up on that. And it ends up ruining his whole life. She ends up killing herself and blaming it on him, and then the whole town, like, goes after him, and they burn his house down, and his children and his wife die. And then he ends up, like, going to prison, and then eventually he flees to the Congo and then becomes a terrorist.
Like you do.
And so, yeah. I mean, I feel like that
explains. That once. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like,
divorced, went to the Congo,
it's obvious,
became a terrorist. Yeah.
Obvious how that exposes the dark underbelly of humanity, like these people.
Yeah.
Because he actually didn't really do anything. Like, this girl, he didn't, like, do anything with her or to her. This girl just became transfixed with him, and then... Although I did fail to see why, because he wasn't a great character. I was like, why? And because there's another woman, her sister, actually also falls in love with him. And I'm like, but why, though?
but why?
Yeah, but it was an interesting novel, to say the least.
So for my fiction one, I have Unwind by Neil Shusterman. In this book, it's a society where abortion has been outlawed. So, like, from the point of conception until the child is, like, 13 years old, you can't do anything to it. Like, you have to have the baby. But once the kid turns 13, you can choose to have it unwound, which is, like, they take the kid and then they donate every part of the child's body to someone else. So it's technically not killing it, it's just living in a different form. And so, which is bullshit, but, like, the parents, It was really fucked up because, like, the parents in this book, like, how can you do that to a child? And, like, there's a really brutal scene where someone does get unwound, and it's really fucking brutal.
All right, and then the nonfiction book I chose is In Order to Live by Yeonmi Park. This is a true story about her escape from North Korea, and then she escapes into China and then is sold into this sex slavery. And then she does eventually make her way to Malaysia, I think, and then to South Korea. I mean, it is a book that is inspiring because she was so strong and there were people that helped her along the way, but also, you know, just the way she lived in North Korea was appalling, and then the fact that she was then sold into sex slavery when she was, I think, 14 or 15. Also appalling. Like, how can people treat each other that way? So
it's horrible. For my nonfiction, I said Asking for It by Kate Harding. That was a book about rape culture, so again, pretty obvious about how that would expose the dark underbelly of humanity. But yeah, that book really pissed me off.
Alright, and the last question, number 9, is Every War Has Casualties.
Name an author who isn't afraid to kill their characters for the sake of authenticity.
And I said Shakespeare. Lots of people die in Shakespeare plays.
That's very true.
So, yeah. He'll kill you off real good.
What the hell, William? Bill?
Billy Shakespeare.
Why are you killing everybody, Billy?
Billy Shakespeare wrote a whole bunch of sonnets. That's from the stupidest song ever written. What is that called? It's from LFO. New kids on the block had a bunch of hits. Chinese food makes me sick. Stupidest lyrics of a song ever. He literally says, I like the color purple macaroni and cheese, ruby red slippers and a bunch of trees.
Like girls who
That's real lyrics to a hit song.
Take her if I had one wish. Yep. I said George R.R. motherfucking Martin because that motherfucker kills everyone I love. Everyone I love. As soon as I start to like a character, I'm like, God damn it, he's gonna die.
That was the Wonder Woman movie book tag.
Yes.
Oh, we haven't tagged anyone.
Who would we like to tag?
Some Wonder Women.
I was gonna say, let's tag some of our favorite women on BookTube.
Sam and Amber.
Obviously. Let's tag Camille. Has she done this?
I don't think so.
Yeah, Camille from The Chameleon.
The ladies from Game of Thrones. I'm not sure if they've been tagged or not, but we'll tag them again.
Yup.
Jen from Batman Reads Books.
Yup.
And then let's tag Acacia Ives.
Let's do all of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our Wonder Women.
And this beer's pretty good. I like it.
I like it.
It's got just a really nice, like, when it's in your mouth, it's like, eh, and then when you swallow it,
the aftertaste is nice. Yeah, because it's kind of just like, it doesn't have a whole lot of flavor when it's actually in your mouth.
Yeah.
But yeah.
This says in the heart of Texas County. So yeah, they live near Houston.
Texas County.
Because Houston, Missouri is in Texas County.
Yeah.
In the heart of Texas County, McKinney Eddy on the Big Piney River was home to our friend and master blacksmith, Charlie McKinney. Charlie toiled over an anvil with purpose, passion, and pure Ozark creativity, and inspiration for our handcrafted Amber Ale.
Nice.
You know what I think we should do is watch the show Ozark and review it as Ozarkians.
We should do that. Oh God, I'm an Ozarkian.
I mean, you've lived here for
that
like 10 years.
That just hit me. Yeah, hold on a second. I'm gonna need a minute. Oh, fuck, man.
Because from what I've seen, it's a pretty negative portrayal of the Ozarks.
Yeah, I think we should watch it and review it. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
We should probably drink a beer while we watch it, though, because we're going to need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks kind of rough.
I think I'm going to claim dual citizenship, so, like, I'm a Michigander and an Ozarkian.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm also a troll.
A troll?
Right, because in Michigan, if you live... Okay, so here's my map of Michigan. Do this. So if you live up here, you're a Youper, because you live in the Upper Peninsula, which we call the UP, because abbreviations. If you live down here in the Mitten part, you're under the Mackinac Bridge, so you're a troll.
Oh, you're a troll because you're under the bridge. I like that.
Yeah. A little bit of...
We don't have anything cool like that in Missouri, I don't think.
Yeah, but you know.
If you live in southern Missouri, you're a meth head. If you live in northern Missouri,
You're probably also a meth head.
You're probably also a meth head.
Or a racist. If you live up by Ferguson, you probably, you know. So, you know.
I mean, that's true down here too, though.
Yeah. Well, the NAACP put out their first, like, travel advisory, and it was for Missouri.
I know, that's fucked up.
That makes me really fucking sad to live here.
Yeah. Anyway, we links below where you can find us other places on the internet.
And if you're not already subscribed to the restricted section,
do it.
Get on it.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.